work with my husband. I say, what are the duties of a wife towards the husband? And that's what we are discussing. Remember, in our discussion, we've not had children in this discussion. Children are not involved here. We are dealing with husband and wife. Let me read Michael. Michael just sent me a message. He says, good evening, sir. I don't know you that much, but I want to say that I love you so much. God bless you. God bless you for everything, and keep advising us. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for also coming to join us today. The man is not being fair. He is not ready to be married. The wife works. She is not lazy. I think parents should teach their sons how to take care of themselves before they marry, so they don't become, I want to see that one, so that there's more. So they don't become, take their words before themselves, before they marry, so they don't become a burden for another woman. That's a very good statement. And I'm saying that the reason why we are doing the school of marriage and relationship is that raise husbands and raise wives in your house. Raise husbands and wives in your house. How can a man go into a washroom and when you poo-poo and you mess up the place, you are expecting somebody's daughter to come and clean it? When you enter the washroom, how was the washroom? Come out properly. Let the washroom be as neat as you went. You can't go to the bathroom and bath. And when you finish bathing, there's soap all over the wall. And you expect somebody to come and wash it. I mean, there are times that I don't understand. Nobody says go to the kitchen and go and wash your hands and go and wash your food. No, it's not accepted. The wife is supposed to wash your bowls for you. They give you water to wash your hands. All those ones are part of it. But once a while, when you walk to the kitchen by yourself and you see that there are utensils in the sink, you wash it. It doesn't change your status as a husband to the house. So there are some things that they are not particular print. They are not cast in stone. But once you are well trained, you are coming from a home, you are supposed to learn how to do it. A man, it is not wrong when a man decides to wash the panties of a wife. I hear people say that when you wash your wife's panties, they have taken you to Bontimi, they've taken you to Juju. No. If you are well trained, you are coming from a house, washing your wife's panties, what is wrong with it? Are you not the one who removed the panties? Who removed the panties? So you go into a bathroom and you see your wife's panties there, you don't want to wash it for her. Some people see their wife's panties hang there and they're supposed to go and dry it on the lamp. The other one has the right to forget. There are times you walk to the washroom, your wife washed her panties and she left it. It's not you to carry and go and dry it. Some people will hold your panties and you think it is superfluity of negativity. So we need to raise our sons well. So when they become husbands, they become helpers to their wives. God created a helpmate for Adam, but he didn't create a lazy man for Eve. Adam was not another lazy creature for Eve. So never think that women were created as helpmates and men were created as what? Raise your son to understand how things are done by wives, so that when the wife is not available to do what they're supposed to do, they will learn how to manage themselves. You travel and leave your husband at home, you come back and the house is smelling and stinking. It means that he was not qualified to be a husband. That is why you need to build your singleness before you become a husband. I am coming from the reverse. I'll come and treat how to choose a wife, what you need to do to become a wife. I'll come and treat that. But what I'm treating right now is that creating the interest for people to become wives and husbands. And one of the challenges are that men don't even, I mean, can you imagine that a man goes to a washroom to go and wee-wee or urinate, and when they finish, they spill on the toilet seat and they leave it. This is not a husband. This is a stupid boy. What do you mean by that? If your life, you've not used a flushing toilet before, you have been using public toilets where you squat and you push your thing inside, don't you see that you have wee-weed on the seat that you need to clean? And is your wife supposed to go and do the cleaning as well? There are things that are natural things that we need to know. Not just because you are a husband, but because you are a human being. Because you are a human being. Look, I joined my wife to sweep when the time she enjoys sweeping the compound. I joined her to sweep the compound. Does it change who am I? Does it change me? I help them to dry things on the line. I'm not saying do it, but I'm saying when I help them to go and dry things on the line, does it change me not being a husband again? You see, we need to learn it. I have a way I dry my things on the line. My wife came where she came from. They don't dry things in that order. But I began quietly joining them to dry things on the line, and they are learning and following. I dry things with a mark. And if I tell you the reason why I dry things with one particular format, the reason is that when I dry my things on the line and you take one out, I can easily identify, because when I'm drying the things, I dry it according to size, according to colors, according to make. I don't mix things up. I don't throw things and just put a peg on the drying line. Do you understand? But my wife came, they have a different design, they do their things. I didn't impose it on her, but I joined her to dry things on the line. I was taught to move things on the line. Directly, you fold them with the worms from the line and fold them into a bowl. So I do with my children and they learn it. So that once a man is doing some of the activities at home, it generates the interest for your son to know that when you become a husband, you don't sit down and command alone. Because when you are commanding and you don't know what you are commanding, you become a shame and disgrace to the marriage. So don't be a burden to your wife. Some husbands are burdens. They behave like children. What do you mean? Are you a child? So wives are managing their husband, and they are managing terrible 2, terrible 3, and terrible 5 in the house. Thanks to Cowbell for my drink. Remember that the ginger is still available. Yes, it's just straight ginger and honey that has been baked, and I sell this small to support the foundation. So what I'm saying is that don't become a burden to your wife. There are too many husbands who are burdens. Yes, you can come from work, remove your suit in the sitting room. Your wife will come and pick it. That's okay. It's part of service. But there are many times that common sense should teach you that you too, how do you want your suit to be kept? I don't joke with my suit. I don't. Me. Ask anybody around me. If you joke with my suit, I think you're joking with my heart. Because finally for me, bodyline clothing suits are very expensive. Very, very expensive. And because they are expensive, I don't joke with it. So once I don't joke with it, I don't expect you to joke with it, but I show you how it's done. How many women wear suits? They don't wear suits. Maybe my wife's father has never worn a suit before. So once she comes into the house, I need to gradually introduce her how to manage my suit, how to wear the suit, how the suit is done. I know what I'm talking about. But unfortunately, look at us. We have become children to our wives. You are a burden when you look at like a child over your wife. I say you are a burden. You are a burden when your wife is treating you like a child. And you know, it's easy for you to be treated like a child. Or maybe they're calling you baby. Babe. Babe. You to yourself, you are calling this old man babe. You to you are happy at your age, they're calling you babe, and you are straight. Let me tell you, women are struggling and some are losing interest in marriage because the husbands they are married have become boys, children that they are managing. The duty of a wife is to manage a husband, not a son. When you see your mother, go to toilet and don't clean the seats. We and leave it. But when you're in your house with your wife, behave like a husband. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that one? There are things that wives are supposed to do for you. I agree. But I had a lot of phone calls from people who are complaining about some behaviors of their husbands. And they don't have the right to talk about it because they are the man. You are the man, so what? The man, my foot. Be a man in that house. Leadership by example. What are the examples that you're showing? What are your leadership examples that those children in the house are learning? Let me tell you, let your wife learn some things from you. Those who do housekeeping in home economics and what do you call it, life skills, they learn how to iron. But there's a way to iron a man's clothing. So what stops you from ironing when your wife removes the things from the line so she sees how to iron a trouser? But your wife irons for you and you have 2 lines in your trouser and you get offended. Are you serious? You take your things to laundry and stop buying soap for your house because your wife cannot wash your things. It's not that she can't wash your things. She has not washed things that are for men before. So once you know how to wash men's clothing, teach your wife. Why would you have too many roof rats who have become husbands? And they're making the marriage industry nasty. What are we talking about? Last week we discussed the topic, and that's what we're moving to. That menstruation is supposed to be a duty of a wife, and the man must learn menstruation from the wife. But we need to teach both male and female about menstruation. So we discussed menstruation last week. Then somebody calls me and say that I made a statement during the presentation, and he thinks I should retract it because it's demeaning. It's not worth saying it. What was it? That if your wife soils the bed and you wash it, there's nothing wrong with it. He says it is wrong to wash a menstrual blood. Says who? From which book are you reading? Which part of the Bible says that? Which part? That you're living with a wife who is not well, she has bled, and she has soiled the bed, and it's difficult. So during sexual intercourse, who cleans who? When you discharge in the bed, what do you do? So who are you? Are you a mini God? Yes. You are a spiritual leader to your husband, to your wife. But it doesn't mean some things cannot be done by you. When you go to the toilet, who cleans your anus for you? How do you come and say that you can't wash blood that has soiled in your own bed sheet from your wife? Ladies and gentlemen, I think we need to learn some things right now. That wives are losing interest in marriages. Some wives have lost their interest because of the way some husbands are behaving. They are supposed to serve you. You are supposed to enjoy the service as a husband, not as a child. Change your character. Change your character. Nothing happens. You know, look, they serve you. I don't say carry your bowl. Don't carry your bowl when you finish eating. Wash your hand, say thank you to your wife, and leave the bowl. But once a while, when you are able to walk to the kitchen and there are bowls in the sink and you have one, you don't add it because the protocol never taught you that when you see a bowl in the kitchen, you add it to it. You also wash it. When you bath for the kids, what have you done? When you also learn how to feed the kids, what have you done? What at all are you also doing that your son is learning as a husband in future? You see, some of the things you learn them before the children come into the circle. There are some wives that will never give you opportunity to do anything in the house. Perfect. Perfect. Agree. But in your own small way, my question is, what are you, husband, doing that we can point our finger and say, yes, this is what my husband can do for me? Have you ever ironed your wife's clothing to work before? You don't feel ashamed? Your wife will iron her dress and iron yours. I mean, at times it doesn't make sense. Even though she knows how to do it well, does it make sense? What at all are you doing? I'm not insisting she do it, but it brings a lot of support to show that you are a husband and not a son. Well, as I walk to my topic, Irene says, we clean every day. That's very true. Sorry for you. Kennedy says, it all boils down to self-discipline. Yes. Some husbands don't have self-discipline. They want to be served, but they are not even qualified to be served. I'm sorry, but I have to say this. You want to be served, and you are not qualified to be served. The husbands that you can't even buy dresses for them to wear. Yes, your wife is not your mother. Yes, so she can instruct you like your mother did. But what are you doing as a head? You are one of the burdens in the house. Burdens in the house. You are a burden in the house. You finish bathing, you clean yourself with a towel, you leave it on the bed. Are you serious? You shave your own beard and you leave the clipper lying down there? Are you a husband? What is it? Are you the only busy person on earth? You are not creating the interest for your wife to serve you. You are becoming a burden to her. So she's lost interest in the marriage because she's working on you like one of the children. Are you a child to this man? You are not a child to this woman. You are a husband. Husbands, arise. Arise. Let us show leadership by example. When food is not ready, how do you expect your food? Is it in anger, insults, lose speech. Everybody sees you are in the mood. Your mood has come because food is not ready. It doesn't make you a husband. It makes you a child. What is it? That yes, somebody has beaten the wife because food was not ready. You are a stupid man. You don't know what we call delay of gratification. Is that what you're talking about? Food is not ready. I've seen women who have started meal, and when the food was about to cook, there was an error. They have to cook something else for you. I mean, you come home, you are hungry, food is not ready, and they give you an alternative. This is not your mother. This is your wife. And mature people marry. Marriage is not meant for children. Look, any husband who threatens you with divorce is a stupid man. No apologies. The slightest thing you threaten a woman with divorce, go to your mother's house. I'll marry another one. Who are you? Who are you? You see, until we leave the tantrums, throwing tantrums like children, the women will not see us as husbands. Husbands, relax, enjoy what your wife is doing towards you as a service to you. Enjoy it. Respond to the enjoyment. You need to respond to the enjoyment. What at all did your mother teach you as a husband? When you were a child, what did you learn? Have you implemented any of them in the house? Or constantly, you are rather the burden to the woman in the house? You don't know how to spread your bed? Yes, your wife is the first to wake up. You are the last to come out of the room. Nobody says it's by force that you stretch the bed. But if you are coming from a home, like my friend said, it boils down to self-discipline. If you are coming from a home where you are well-disciplined, you don't wake up from a bed and leave it unstretched. You lay the bed. You lay the bed. Is it a crime to lay a bed as a husband? When you are single, you are laying bed. We are not saying get up every day and lay bed. But once you are the last to step out, it's nice that before your wife will run and come, she comes to appreciate something and say, my Lord, thank you. It makes sense. We are not saying it's your duty, but we are saying that it makes sense. This is how women tend to enjoy marriages. But they don't enjoy the marriage. They are enjoying most marriages because they have added you to their 5 children. So they have 6 children in their house. Why? Because a husband who is supposed to be the one in charge is behaving like your last born. Fish marbles. You don't know how to wash? I love that counselor. When they mess the toilets, they won't clean. Oh, it's so annoying. Yes, Evelyn, it's annoying. Please, I want to know how you dry things on the line. Oh, I'll teach you. You see, there is a way to arrange things. Even washing things, we'll come to how to wash clothing. We don't mix colors to wash. The fact that I use a washing machine means mix colors. I mean, there are homes that you see your wife washing. It's nice you join her to wash. It's nice. And when a woman watching me, any woman who gathers her pants to wash is dirty. You don't gather your panties to wash them. Saturday, we see you line up your 7 panties. You are not serious. It's wash and go. Every woman must wash your pants immediately after you finish bathing. Wash it. So in your bathhouse, there is a washing soap and there's a bathing soap to wash your pants. What do you need to wash your pants with? Somebody say, when I'm menstruating, you need to soak your pants. By whose standard? What is there? What have you poured in your pants? What have you poured there? Don't you have a part there? Creating unnecessary things for yourself. You get up panties because you have 50 panties. Look, wash your pants every day 2 times. The morning pants, you wash it when you're bathing. Evening pants, wash it when you're bathing and dry it. Boxer shorts cannot be washed every day because they are thick. So that will be gathered and washed. And learn from me today. As you're asking questions, if you gather your things before you wash them, you create fungal in them and it smells. So there's a scent that you don't know where it's coming from. It's coming from gathered things. If you think, try it. You need to wash regularly, maximum every 2 days. If you have children, there is worse. You can wash every day. What's your problem? What do you lose in washing every day? If you have a pattern you need to wash, why do you wait Saturday and wash 4 lines? Are you serious? What is it? Is it economical? That the whole week, Monday to Friday, I wear my shirt Monday to Friday, I bring it, you wear yours. What stops you from putting it, wash it in the morning, before you get back home, it has dried up, or what? Can we learn some skills? Husbands, don't be one of the children that your wife is supposed to manage. Just be the man that your wife wants to marry. Counselor, darling says, Counselor, I live with my mother-in-law for 5 months, and we shared the kitchen, and we live happily. Whenever she wants to cook, she comes and asks me, "Now, do you have anything in mind that we can cook?" We can cook. If I say no, she tells me what she have in mind. I love my mother-in-law so much. Darling, don't hate your mother-in-law. Love your mother-in-law so much. But this thing you have started will eat you up very soon. I like to be truthful. I'm not saying your mother-in-law is bad, though. But this cooperation of cooking together, be careful, because it is not the ideal situation. It's wrong. Let's be truthful. It's wrong. This one says, "Good evening, counselor." Thank you, Thomas. Good evening, counselor. Please, how are you? I'm now coming home. Oh, we are not coming home. I think that's what you want to write. Okay. Irene says that, and we will teach them how to fix the sanitary pad. Yes, we are going to do that today. See that I was going to bring a pad, but I was looking for a pad without a name, and it's unfortunate I didn't get one. So next week I'll do that. So when I am on my period, or when I'm in my period, my husband helps me by fixing the pad in my pants. Wow. Fortunate for you. Fortunate for you. This is a husband, not a bedding. You need to say all these on Facebook. Well, I don't know what he's talking about. Thank you very much, Ebenezer. Thank you, Counselor Efe. Thank you for blowing love. Ruth is giving me good. Efe, once again, clapping the hands. Thank you very much for the emojis that are flowing. Thank you so much once again. So, laying the bed and sweeping the bedroom is my passion. I love doing it. This is Ebenezer saying that. Thank you very much, Mabel. Mabel too is clapping her hands. My friend told me she has moved from patience to endurance, and now she is living a life of long suffering in her marriage. Honestly, it saddens my heart hearing her say that. Nana, tell your friend to call me, because if she has to go down to long suffering now, living patient, moving to endurance, and now living in long suffering, tell her that that is not what marriage is meant to be. Come for help. Perfectly. All right. Thank you very much, Mabel. And we have again, Rebecca here says, Rebecca Bonaparte, are you here? Is calling somebody. Mercy is coming from Evelyn. So last week we started a topic. Yesterday we had a playback, and it's a simple thing: menstruation. And we are saying that women must teach their husbands what menstruation is all about. So what is menstruation? I gave you the definition of menstruation quickly, as we're supposed to do. And I told you that menstruation is what? Menstruation is menstruation, or people call it period. Some will call it period. So what is menstruation or period? Menstruation is a normal vaginal bleeding that occurs as part of a woman's monthly cycle. Every month, your body goes through preparation for pregnancy. So watch it here. Your body goes through preparation for pregnancy. When they don't meet a very strong somatozoa to cook the egg that you have prepared, immediately it turns out to become a particular form of flow, which you call the blood that comes out of you. And it is called menstruation, which is called your body preparing for pregnancy and not meeting an egg. For that matter, something must occur in the uterus or in the womb, and they share up the linings within the uterus or the womb, and it's called menstrual blood, which comes with blood and then partly tissues from the inside of the uterus. So when you are flowing that blood, automatically it tells you that you are supposed to you have an egg that was supposed to deliver or take seed or create a fetus, and unfortunately you never met a man who carried the sperm to cook that egg. So it flows down and it becomes what we call menstrual blood. This is why menstruation is not dirty. So last week we learned that women must know what menstruation is so they can be able to teach their husband what menstruation is all about. So I've defined for you what menstruation is. But if you tend to know what menstruation is, then there's something that happens before the blood flows. Last week, I told you that there is something we call ovulation. And I told you before one can have menstruation, it means that something has occurred. And the blood, the egg that moved to the fallopian tube was not fertilized by a spermatozoa. So it breaks down for it to become menstrual blood. Once you go through the process, some people are happen to be 35 days, some are 28 days, whatever day it is. Your number of days of menstruation is one of the things you need to learn. So today, we're going down here to understand the chemistry between menstruation and pregnancy, so that you will know why you need to know your menstrual cycle. As a woman, you need to communicate your menstrual cycle to your husband. Every husband, it is your duty to know your wife's menstrual cycle. Every wife or every female, once you get to the age of menstruation, you need to know your menstrual cycle. In life, garbage in, garbage out. What you don't have an idea about, you can't teach on it. So you, the woman, if you don't understand menstruation, how do you teach your husband? You, the husband, if you don't have an idea about menstruation, how do you learn? Share the page. Share it. I started early today and I'll close exactly 1 hour. I'm doing exactly 1 hour today for you. Because you see, we want to learn. It's not too much talk that brings the knowledge. It is the fewer we say and we practicing what we have learned. So we say, do you know your menstrual cycle as a woman? That's one. Number two, do you know when you ovulate? Because immediately when you know your menstrual cycle, then you have to learn what ovulation is. Why? Because right now you are managing a husband. But for pregnancy to occur in the marriage, it is not the man's duty. It is you having the gate to procreation. So family planning is not a pill. It's the management of your sexuality in terms of intercourse. Family planning is the management of your sexual intercourse. You need to manage it. You need to know when it's safe for you to have sexual intercourse. You need to know when it's not safe for you to have sexual intercourse. Because I told you, when it comes to you, you are managing a husband. But it is through the management of the husband that a third party comes into the marriage called a child. So the management of your menstruation is because you have a timetable to add another person to the marriage. Having a child in the marriage is planned before the marriage. So those who seek for professional counseling, we plan when they're supposed to have a first child. We plan the gender of the child. Do you want a male first? Do you want a female first? Why do you want a male first? Why do you want a female first? And there is time for you to produce male. There is time for you to produce female. So those who come to us, those of us who are professionals, we do gender charter for you. We understand why you want to have a girl first. We understand why you want to have a boy first. So if you're watching me today and you have girls and you want to have a boy, I bet with you, come and I will give you a boy. I don't take money from people when I'm giving them gender. When you produce a child, and you have a child, according to my plan, then I take my money from you. I don't take money from you before I do it. And it's not for free. You need to have a plan. And the plan starts from your menstruation. So menstruation is simple. When you are bleeding from the vulva, or what you call the vagina area, or the walls, or the vaginal walls are shedding. Now, that shedding has number of days it does. Everybody has the number of days. Some will do 3 days, some will do 7 days, some will do, I've not seen 8 days yet. But anyhow you start your menses, your flow gradually lifts from one stage to the other and ends. So you break down the egg. When you have not met a spermatozoa to fertilize your egg at ovulation, then it becomes bleeding. We call it menstruation, or we call it period. It is not dirty, like I said. There is a way to manage your period. When the blood is flowing, gone are the days where we're using cloth. Now, there is sanitary pad, there is shampoo, which is called the management and the hygiene of your menstruation. Menstruation or menstrual blood doesn't smell. It has a scent. And the scent of menstrual blood has zinc in it. So there are times that when you feel the scent of the menstrual blood, it's as if you have some metals, iron scent in it. Do you understand? Now, many people think it smells, so they don't want to get closer to it. But when you know the scent of liquor, and you know the scent of menstruation, you don't say it smells. The period and whatever you use for your menstruation must be something that you are comfortable with and you don't have reaction. There are people who use a certain type of pad when they are bleeding, and before they finish, they get bruises or laceration within their vagina area. So you need to know the type of pad you should use. Last week I said, husbands must learn how to buy sanitary pads for their wives. But there's some women that is difficult for you to buy for them because they themselves, they don't know what they use. Whether long or short. They don't know. So know your menstrual cycle so you can show your husband. Today, I want you to know why your husband must know your menstrual cycle. Because your menstrual cycle is the determinant for a child in the marriage. If somebody will give you a child or you have a child in the marriage, it will come as a result of your menstruation. So when you don't menstruate properly, you cannot have a child. Is that what you're getting it? When you are not menstruating properly, you can't have a child. You don't know when your menstruation comes. And I mean, if it comes, that's okay. If it doesn't come, me, I'm there. No, we don't do that. That is an irresponsible behavior of a woman. Because you are not supposed to soil yourself in public. You should not be caught unawares your menstruation in public. Menstruation is not a surprise. It's a cycle. So because it's a cycle, it has a time that it's supposed to come. So you can't tell me that, unfortunately for me, I didn't know my message was coming today. It gives you, it's a sign of irresponsibility on your side. Because it's a cycle. It doesn't change too far. The changes are normal. And those changes are within a time. Now, I am going to teach you what causes menstruation, which is called ovulation. Ovulation is what causes the menstruation to come. That's it. So if one doesn't ovulate, then they cannot even have what we call menstruation. So what is ovulation? What is ovulation? You need to understand what ovulation is. And when you know what ovulation is, that is why you are helped. So ovulation is the name of the process that happens usually once in every menstrual cycle when hormones change. When hormonal changes or when hormones change in the body of everybody triggers an ovary to release an egg. Ovulation in its own self is a name of a process that occurs within a woman. And it happens once every month. Why? Because menstruation happens once every month. So when you check the way the chart looks like, in every month, when one is preparing or is going through menstruation, it means that there have been a particular change that triggered an ovary to release an egg. That egg is released specifically to go and meet a sperm to create a being. So ovulation is where the eggs you have has been fertilized, released to meet spermatozoa. And the fertilization I'm talking about here is like, you have many eggs in your system. Every month, it gives way to one. So they will meet a fertilizer called sperm to fertilize it and make it a being. Ovulation happens usually 12 to 16 days before your next menstruation. I'm going to show you a simple method to understand ovulation. Very simple. Very, very, very simple. I wish I had a blackboard or a whiteboard. So I wish I get somebody's menstrual cycle date to use. I'll give you a common number. Remember, ovulation is a name of a process where an egg is triggered, all right, or released, triggered and released to meet a sperm to fertilize it so you become pregnant. Simple. That's all ovulation is. Ovulation is when you are fertile or you are ready to become pregnant. So preparing for pregnancy is having ovulation. And when you have ovulation, you have it once every month. So every man has an opportunity to impregnate you once in a month. Men don't ovulate because they don't menstruate. So ovulation is what comes to trigger menstruation. That's what I'm calling ovulation. And I'm saying that ovulation is just a name of a process that happens once in every menstrual cycle. And I told you from the beginning that menstrual cycle happens to be a monthly cycle that occurs in the life of every woman. I said 12 to 16 days is when ovulation takes place. So let me explain. For example, let's use terms to be whose menstruation? Who can I use? Abna Sandra. Abna or any Adwa or Yaya, whoever. Your menstruation starts, you menstruate for 5 days, for example, 5 days. And you started your menses on the 10th. So you will finish on the 15th. Get it clear? So this is on the 15th. Started menses on the 10th. Finish on the 15th. When is your menstruation starting? When is your ovulation starting? Ovulation, this is my calculation. And take it. You can research on my calculation. I've used it because it's simple. This is how I calculate ovulation. Ovulation is always the 10th day after menses. So plus 10 days. So when you finish your menses on the 15th, your ovulation is 25th. Oh, check carefully. You end menses on the 15th. Ovulation is 10 days after the last day of your menstruation. So if Ya Akosia ended their menses on the 15th, plus 10 is called 25. Now, watch it here. With this 25, which is your ovulation day, this is the day that an egg is triggered in the ovary so that it goes to meet a sperm for fertilization. So the release of this egg on 25th is for pregnancy purpose. The reason why you need to know your menstrual cycle is so that you know when you want to have a child. So if you don't know your cycle, how do you have a child? You have sex indiscriminately. Yedi, eba, naba, no. Unwanted, unplanned, plan. Unwanted pregnancy, planned pregnancy, and unplanned pregnancy. If you are in marriage, you need to have planned pregnancy. And planned pregnancy is when you understand your menstrual cycle. And you teach the man who is having sexual intercourse with you. The funny thing is that men don't menstruate. But when you are able to teach your husband your ovulation, that is how pregnancy can occur, because he carries what to fertilize the egg that has been triggered, which is called ovulation. So ovulation is 10 days after your menses. Now watch it here. So I call it plus 10 minus 3 plus 3. I'm not confusing you. Let me explain to you. I say ovulation happens to be the 10th day after the last day of your menses. My calculation is minus 3 plus 3. So 10 minus 3 is 7. 10 plus 3 is 13. I will explain. Minus 3 of your 10 days means instead of we to find out that on the 15th happens to be the last day of menses, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, I wish I had a board, 22, 23, 24, and then 25. So 10 plus 15 is 25. And I'm saying minus 3 plus 3. That is what my calculation is. It's the 10th day after your menses. And nobody gets pregnant twice. Everybody gets pregnant once. But here is what I'm saying. I'm saying that it is the 10th day after your last menstruation. But it should be minus 3 plus 3. So 15th is when you finish your menses. Your last day is on the 15th. Plus 10 means 25th. So 25 minus 3 is 22nd. 25 plus 3 is 28. Let me explain. Don't be confused. Whatever you know, keep it quietly and follow mine. When you go and compare mine to yours, you see it's the same thing. But this is simple. Ovulation is 10 days after your last day of menstruation. Period. Every sperm has the ability, if they have tails with head, correct spermatozoa has a tail and a head. When they are discharged into your vulva during sexual intercourse, they have 72 hours, some to 78 hours to live, to be active. 72 hours is 3 days. So, if the sperm can stay 3 days before becoming dead sperm, weak sperm, not active anymore, not being able to fertilize any egg, it takes 3 days. So I'm saying that my problem is that people get pregnant while they think they have not gotten to the date of their ovulation. This is why I developed minus 3 plus 3. People don't know that even though your ovulation is on the 10th day, which here the number we are using is 25th, because the sperm will stay 3 days. 25th minus 1 is 24, minus 1 is 23. So if I have sex with you, even though you are supposed to ovulate on 25th, and I have sex with you, and I discharge in you on 22nd, because my sperm stays 3 days, it could linger to go and meet my 25th egg. Then people get pregnant, they don't know where the pregnancy came from. This is why my calculation is plus 10 minus 3 plus 3. What is, so this is where I do minus 3. Sperm will stay 3 days. So because the sperm can stay 3 days, 72 hours, when you discharge and is waiting 3 days, you can impregnate the woman because of the activeness of your sperm. So ovulation is 25th. I had sex with you on 22nd. And I'm making 2 notes, and I'm ovulating. On me that, and I'm make calculate my dear. Meaning, say, no, me any 25th. Now, so it's me, make a say and so a year 25th. Now, so because the young man's sperm was active between 72 to 78 hours. Some are doing 10 days. Some spermatozoa are dangerous. I greet you funny face. So, because it's minus 3, 25th is ovulation for Yaya, but Yaya is meeting a man whose sperm can be strong for 72 to 78 hours. So, if you have unprotected sex with this young man because you think 25th is ovulation, when he discharges in you, the sperm will stay for 3 days and will go and meet your 25th and impregnate you. This is why you have minus 3. What does it mean to have plus 3? My plus 3 is that there are times that people think that their menses ended on 25th. But actually, it's not true. They didn't know what it means to end the menses. They didn't see the brownish discharge, which is the last discharge they have. So they can't really follow when the menses ended. They can't tell you the right time there was no menstruation anymore. They are forgetting what the date was or the time was. So they are doing yes, I'm saying 25th next year, but I did see me who be kakra. Not 24th ne ending you, but 25th ne buy no. Measure 26 not be so because you don't know whether it ended on 25th or 26th. You are not sure because you saw something again on 26th. I say act 3. So that if the sperm that we think is 3 days active, you believe that 25th is your ovulation day. I miss 25th without having sex with you. And I know ovulation is 1 day. So after 25th, you are safe. I can have sex with you. But you might make a mistake because you don't know what it means to have your last day of menses. Based on that, I say add 3 days to it. So that in case it was not 25th, but what came out on 26th was the original day of ovulation, then you don't get unwanted pregnancy. So add 3 days. So you finish your next menses, your ovulation, you extend it to 28, but naturally it's 1 day. But you are taking precautions because you are not ready to have a child. However, if you are ready and you are looking for a child, you need to start having sexual intercourse actively on your 12th midnight of 25th, if you are sure that you ended your menses on the 15th. However, if you are not sure of the 15th that your menses ended, or you are not too sure that it ended on the 15th, then because you want a child and you need a gender, then rather be active with sex from 22nd, 12 midnight, 23rd, 12 midnight, 24th, 12 midnight. The cycle changes at 12 midnight. Ovulation doesn't start in the morning. It starts at the gate, midnight. So in the middle of the night, 12 o'clock, if you want to have a child, always let your husband fire at 12 midnight. And when you want to do childbirth, do missionary. So it will go. I can't explain missionary. It is not a godly thing. I'm not here to explain missionary to you. Don't ask me what is a missionary. So you will hit because you want to have a child. You continue hitting within the same -3 + 3. So your wife tells you that she ovulated on the 15th or she ended the menses on the 15th. Ovulation is 25th. Start having sex with your wife 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. If it's 25th is the day your sperm will hit, and do 12 midnight regularly. because you want to have a child. Don't stop. Continue. In case she didn't finish on the 15th, but she finished on the 16th, have sex on the 6th, have sex on the 7th, 28th. When these days are past, ovulation is gone. Menstruation has begun. The egg never met a spermatozoa. It is now released to shed it on the lining of the vagina with some particular particles or some particular element from the vagina area. Then it is called menstruation. Blood will begin to flow. The blood that is flowing is the egg that never met a sperm to form a being. This is ovulation, which connects to menstruation. There are few people whose ovulation comes within the 3rd day of their menses. I've had a case like that before. The woman has a child now, and that is something. That is something. So ovulation is not a curse. The devil is not against you having a child, but it is your lack of knowledge. Who's here? The devil has taken your husband away on your day of menstruation, on your day of ovulation. And there's a Obama who cut the moon soon what you find. And I'm going to see a brochure now, so you're putting Jimmy. I can't bring and now Kusiana bring ne young Bama who swore a dear moon or Bama in you on the day on better be an I am want to me. Hello. The sperm must carry a head and a tail. That is why they say a people they have the sperm, but they can't impregnate because you need to shoot where the ovulation egg is. As a continue pim negotia. It's better be want to be pim and manincosia. I say a muano. I come one what the cotton for the moon. Oh my so to say thick sperm doesn't mean it's healthy sperm. Go to any point of homeopathic clinic and Dr. Watson will tell you your sperm can be as thick as starch, but it is not the thickness that shows that the spermatozoa or the active spermatozoa in it are active enough to impregnate. So don't always blame yourself as the woman, the reason why childbirth is not happening. Once you are ovulating and there is no clinical history of you not being able to produce healthy eggs to meet spermatozoa, which is a clinical state, don't blame yourself as a barren woman. The sperm must cook the egg once every month. 2 people cannot impregnate a woman. No way. And man be a new to me, sure about Akunin saying, and see that I am so because but the pain here is that somebody has sex with you and the sperm was very weak. At dawn, 12 midnight. One to me and Nemu, Ukunu. And now, ovulation time now, a reamuno, who is Siako Fiaguma, and no rear. Maybe I was Fiaguma of Coffee TV. It's not Safa. And who was sick? It's when you met Kofi Aduma in the afternoon, which was a real dear, you be passing a new pantan, a shiano, one you. You see the thing? So, even though you have sex with me as your husband, unfortunately, you had a runaway taste with somebody else in the afternoon, multiple level, and that sperm was active because there was a tail and there's a head. The number of sperm that one releases once to meet an egg, and you're back on your baby, a dose, but back and your ding as a back on back also. It should not be so they sperm themselves, they fight themselves, and in the act of the fighting, they are swimming and going. When your husband has a weak sperm, they will swim. When he discharges, then it's just there like that. So, Sometimes you say, Lele, sorry, Lele, so you can get pregnant. Women must teach their husband menstruation. Every woman must learn how to teach their husband menstruation. And the reason why you're teaching menstruation is not because of anything. Because you want to plan your pregnancy. Every woman must teach their husband menstruation. And you can't teach what you don't know. So learn it today that menstruation, based on your chart, it is. Ovulation is what brings menstruation. Ovulation is what brings what? Menstruation. So if you don't ovulate, the egg will not go down for you to be able to meet an egg. That is why when you don't menstruate, it means that you're not ovulating. If your menstruation too doesn't end, it's a trouble you need to seek for help. So ovulation is what really triggers a blood that flows within the vaginal wall. It is what triggers you to be able to say, I am menstruating, because you are bleeding. Why? Because the egg that we released never met healthy spermatozoa. So, bleeding in the vagina is normal, monthly for every woman, because your egg never met a sperm to impregnate you. Today, I'm very relaxed to teach you. And I'm teaching you this so that you will teach your husband, so that sex can be planned when you want to have a child. The counseling we do for you, that in 2 years' time you want to have a child, is not in the head of the man. Because men don't menstruate, men don't ovulate. As I sit here, if you talk and bring it at ovulation, when I chop, you have to catch it. Because the boy sitting down, the only challenge I have is Kofi Aduma. So far, as I know by record. As a funny face, the best said about him, I won't talk again. But what I'm saying is that for me, as I said, I don't have a timetable to impregnate a woman. I don't have. No man has a timetable to impregnate a woman, but a woman has a timetable to be impregnated. So it is your duty to let the timetable be known by your husband, so he will prepare on your ovulation date to fire. On the day that your husband is supposed to come and fire on ovulation, that day is when you get angry and sexual intercourse doesn't happen. It is not the devil. It is mood swing. People have mood swings on ovulation. Some have very tasteful swing for sexual intercourse, desire to have sex when you're ovulation. Some too hate to have sex during ovulation. So depending on which one you carry, depending on what you are supposed to have, that is what makes you become fertile or barren or infertile for sexual intercourse. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm ending my lecture here today. That ovulation is 10 days after your last day of menstruation. I say -3 + 3. But when it comes to menstruation, my calculation is that +7 -7. Let me explain that one and end today's lecture. What does it mean to be -7 + 7 when it comes to menstruation? We use 10th as the menstrual day. On the 10th was the menstrual day. Now, this on the 10th menstrual day, you had your menses last month, July, on the 10th. And you finish on the 15th. I'm saying that for me, in my calculation, menstruation is +7 - 7, +7 - 7, +10 - 3 + 3. This is my calculation, very simple. And I've explained the +10 - 3 for you. Now I'm doing -7 + 7, then I close for today. Your menstrual cycle, if I give you the chart on the whiteboard, has a way the wave works. And it is normal that you always have -7. So July, you had your menses on the 10th. And you finish on the 15th. You are expecting your next menses again on the 10th. I'm saying that the cycle is 7 days. So -7 from your 10 days, expect your menses from on the 3rd. Remember that you ovulated maximum 25th. 25th is gone. You didn't have anything done. So as I said, you can have sex out. But the next month is on the 15th, on the 10th, you are waiting for your menses. And I'm saying that you should be expecting it so that you don't swell yourself in town -7 days. So from on the 10th, on the 3rd, you should be expectant for menstruation. -7. If you hit on the 10th and it doesn't come, it doesn't mean you are sick. So that is why you have what we call +7. So +7 means 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, which is the 15th day you finish. Once you didn't get it on the 10th, we are counting 7 days. So till 17th, your menses will definitely come. This means that you are within, go and calculate, you are within your 28 days to your 35 days. It's normal. So don't be worried and say, I am pregnant. Don't ever say, I am pregnant. Wait for it. If you are the one writing for me, if you are finished, this letter is important to the girls who want to get pregnant. So let it. +7, you are expecting your menses. I finish on the 15th. Expect your menses from on the 10th, on the 3rd to on the 17th. If anything happens that these days the menses doesn't come, you can say to yourself, I've missed my period. The thing me and you do, Mark, Papa C, Mama C, you can report to the first mother that the son have impregnated you because I have missed my period. Because you know very well that 25th, born a role. Friends, wives, learn what it means to menstruate so you can teach your husband's menstruation. I'm done for today. Tomorrow, I'll teach you menstrual hygiene. How do you keep your menses? And why can you have sexual intercourse during menstruation? It's good. It's sweet. It's nice. It's very, very spiritual that you have sex during menstruation. I know Sefa because it's not married. He might have tried it once. And I don't know if you know the Sefa I'm talking about. Even Kofi, it's difficult for him to attest to the fact that he can have sex during menstruation. But try it. If only you will learn from tomorrow how to have sexual intercourse when your wife is menstruating. Men, today, I rest my case here. Today, I'll be very cool in the class to teach you. Knowledge is power, but the wisdom of application is what makes it important. Wives, teach your husbands what it means to have menstruation so that you will not say, I am barren. Bonsam, Edu Yefun, Ekobo tennis ball. Debia, a minister so Kumbasha wouldn't say, Onifi, Oye Facebook Live. To say, baby, I'm a team. Let me read you a few messages as a wrap up for today. Mine comes 14 days after the last day of my menstrual cycle. It's correct. Go and calculate what I just said. and you see that it's correct. Do you understand? Good. Irene, thank you. Waiting for you on Kofi TV. Don't worry. Relax. It will happen. I'm learning a lot. Counselor One, thank you very much, Hajia. Darling, Counselor, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, darling. I'm learning a lot. Thank you very much, Abba, for learning. Yes, so Walker, thank you. Irene says, well done, Counselor. Stop your show. We are waiting for you. Don't worry. The store will stop. Will stop, and you wait for me. Congratulations. Aiko, Irene, thank you for giving me Aiko. Mommy is clapping for me. Ladies and gentlemen, when you learn something, you practice it. It's a shame for a woman to walk in town and somebody will tell you, Mommy, what's there? Don't spoil yourself again. Keep the chat. Learn it. Teach your husband so that that child you want very soon. I'm grateful. Very happy for you being in class today with me. 0277 609 644 is my number. And for the foundation, you've always been there to support us. Counselor Little Foundation for Health, Diabetes, Asthma, Cerebral Palsy, and the needy. You can always be there to support us, to make sure that it works for all of us. You can send your donations to us. If you are doing MTN Momo, what number is it? You can do a simple number like what you know already. 055 000 5077. 055 000 5077. Or you can do a Vodafone cash 0507 150 223. That is a Vodafone cash to support the foundation. 050 150 050 150 223. 0507 150 223. 0507 150 223. Not forgetting that you can also do that in the United States of America. Our Cash App. The Cash App, all the details will be dropped for you on the page. You can do Yah Frank, and then you add the number 862-215-2007, and that becomes the best way of reaching us. May the Lord bless and keep you. May his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Stop blaming the devil. Blame your ovulation cycle. Call your husband. Let him have sex with you when you're ovulating. And if your husband's sperm is like cocoa poposu with dead sperm in it, let him go and see Dr. Boatin at Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Let them make it lighter. Bring healthy sperm. Don't cry. Don't drink medicine because you are barren if you don't know your menstrual cycle. God richly bless you. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you in the next 20 minutes for the next thing. So the contacts are there, either Cash App, whatever it is. Thank you so much, Akushana, for dropping this information for us. I'm out of here right now. Till I see you again. Enjoy the best of the best. Bye for now.